Hello YouTube, this is Jesse Ferguson, Canadian folk musician also known as the Bard of Cornwall here on YouTube. Been a YouTuber for about 5 years now. And today I'd like to talk to you about good sources for folk song lyrics and chords for guitar or mandolin or piano. And this is a response to requests that I get routinely with my videos. Is people will say, can you please give me the chords or the lyrics for this or something like that. Now, generally speaking, I don't post those because I don't have them written down the way that I play them. So in other words, I've learned the song somehow, but I don't have it written down exactly as I play it. So my idea there is that I'll try to articulate the words that I'm saying properly, and I will keep my guitar or my mandolin in frame so that you can follow along if you know that that's a G, for instance, etc., etc. And the other reason why I don't post them oftentimes is that I believe in the value of song collecting, ballad collecting in the folk tradition, which means that you will make a personal library, whether it's in your head or written down in a songbook of some kind, of all the songs that you play, in the way that you play them with your own particular variation on it. And this is especially important for folk songs because the older the song is, generally the more variation you will find in the way that it's played. A good example of that is the song Home on the Range, which I'm currently uploading. That song has at least 3 recognized variants of the song. And sometimes you can find variants on the melody, the way a certain song is played. For instance, the song Auld Lang Syne by Robbie Burns. There's a song that everyone sings at the melody that everyone sings on New Year's Eve, but there's an older melody to the song. Now, which is the real version? That's the way folk music works, right? So, in other words, it's important, if you want to continue on and be part of that tradition, to adapt the songs and the lyrics the way you want to play them. Don't worry if it matches exactly the way the Dubliners did it, or the Chieftains, or Great Big Sea, or whatever the case might be. Play it your way. Play it in the way that it's played in your region, maybe. That's the way the folk tradition should work. It's passed from one person to the next, and it changes, it slightly evolves. So, what are the 3 main sources? Well, the 3 main sources are hearing it from someone else playing it, whether that's in a video or on a recording or playing in a live setting where you're jamming with other musicians or going to a concert. The internet and books, song books. Now, each has its advantages. A purist in the folk tradition would say that the only true way to transmit folk songs is person to person. Once you write it down and pass that off to someone who hasn't heard you play it, then that's not really folk transmission. I don't tend to see things that way, but there are some out there who see it that way. The internet is a great source for song lyrics and chords and notation, tablatures as well. As you navigate the internet, though, you'll see that the sites are not all created equally, of course, and some of them are just absolutely unreliable. The top sites that I use, I'm going to mention in a minute. One of them being YouTube, of course. But again, not everybody on YouTube is of equal rigor in researching songs, playing them properly, and so on. Maybe I shouldn't call it properly, but at any rate, you'll see that not all are of equal use. And books, printed books, well, they're super reliable. You have to pay a little bit of money for them, but I would say if you're going to play in a certain tradition, English folk songs, Scottish, Irish, whatever the case might be, American folk songs, I would definitely invest in at least one reputable, well-reviewed songbook from that field. My favorite books, songbooks that are printed, would be the Stan Rogers songbook, a Canadian folk singer. If you don't know his work, boy, you've got to check it out. I've got some videos on my site, on my channel. Stan Rogers, that's published by his estate. Well, actually, it's published by the Ottawa Folklore Centre. That's where I bought it, in Ottawa, Canada. Now, there's the Irish songbook from the Clancy brothers, published by Oak Publications. I've been a big fan of this one. They tend to overcomplicate the chords for songs, but they have chord charts and also the notation and the lyrics for the songs. With Clancy Brothers and Tommy Makem, you really can't go wrong. They're legends. So that's highly recommended, Oak Publications. And then there are the Waltons 100 songs, either Scottish or Irish, And these ones have the huge advantage of coming with a CD that contains portions of every single song. I think it's almost every one. If not, it's pretty close. So you get a chorus and a lyric and a verse of each of the songs, which is invaluable. And they're played the way that they arrange them in the book, which is another big advantage. If you are not an extremely experienced musician, then if you listen to a recording in the key of G and you're trying to figure it out in the key of D, that will throw problems for you. So these ones are recorded in the key that they're played in on the CD, and the way that they're arranged in the book. Highly, highly recommended those two ones, in spite of a few typos in the lyrics here and there. Now, my favorite websites for finding song lyrics, these are ones that I've gone to again and again. The first one, and I'll put links to these all, the first one is Mudcat Cafe, Mudcat Cafe. The website is mudcat.org. And this is a community of folkies, people who play folk music or research it, who talk about the history of the songs, the different variations. They'll post the lyrics, post the song chords and things like that. An invaluable resource. You can also go there to talk about the songs with other people if you want, in a forum type setting. Cantaria, C-A-N-T-A-R-I-A, is run by a university somewhere, I believe. Very well edited, extremely reliable, does give some background information on the songs. That's an excellent source. There is Guest Songs of Newfoundland, G-E-S-T, and they focus especially on songs related to the Newfoundland, the province of Newfoundland in Canada, but more broadly the Atlantic regions. And a lot of the Irish and Scottish folk songs and English songs ended up by people who emigrated from the UK to the Canadian East Coast, and across Canada for that matter. But in other words, Songs of Newfoundland would include some of those songs from the old countries. So at any rate, a highly reliable source of song lyrics, especially for Canadian East Coast songs. And the last one that I'll mention is the Brobdingnagian Bards page, which is run by Mark Gunn, M-A-R-C-G-U-N-N, who also has probably the best folk song or Celtic podcast for your iPod. You can listen to it just on your computer as well, going, and it's been around for a long time, which is called the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast. It's featured music by me before. And his website has a ton of great song lyrics and chords, also very reliable in my experience. So those would be some excellent places to start looking for songs on the internet. Don't just Google it and expect to find good quality stuff come out, unless you come up with one of these sources. Now obviously there will be some other reliable sources out there, but those are the ones that I trust. And they'd be a great place to start looking if you're looking for a certain song. So that's my 2 bits on, my 2 cents on where to find song lyrics and song chords. I hope you found it interesting and useful. You got a bit of my philosophy on why I like to collect ballads and so on. And I hope you'll think of subscribing to my channel, checking out some of my other videos, and feel free to comment below on other good sources for folk songs, especially on the internet. If you have a good source that you go to all the time, post it in the comments please, and we'll try to build a bit of a list maybe. And cheers, thanks for listening.